ever wondered what happens when the world's biggest icons step onto a stage alone? We're not just talking about cheers. We're talking about jaw-dropping contracts and history-making paychecks that defy logic. From global stadiums to high-stakes luxury galas, the BTS members have turned their solo talent into literal gold mines. Who secured the most legendary deal? Which single night shook the global economy? Buckle up as we dive into the staggering wealth behind the top 7 highest-paying solo performances. Ready to see the price of greatness?
Number 7. Jin. A galactic farewell, the $1 million hug. Imagine the humid, electric air of Buenos Aires, Argentina, where the ground itself seems to tremble under the weight of 65,000 screaming souls at the legendary Estadio River Plate. This wasn't just any concert, it was a cosmic alignment where the worlds of K-pop and British rock collided in a way that the industry had never seen before, and at the heart of it all stood Kim Sok-jin. This performance of the astronaut alongside Coldplay wasn't merely a guest appearance, it was a high-stakes, multi-million-dollar global event that served as a heart-wrenching see you later before his mandatory military service. The sheer logistics of this single night were staggering, as the performance was broadcast live through more than 3,500 cinemas across 81 different countries, creating a simultaneous global theater experience that generated astronomical revenue before Jin even hit the first high note. The atmosphere was thick with a mixture of celebration and impending sorrow, a bittersweet symphony that echoed through the stadium as Chris Martin introduced Jin as his brother. This wasn't just about a paycheck, it was about the commercial power of a legacy being solidified in real time, where the synergy between HYBE and Coldplay's management created a marketing masterclass that redefined what a solo debut stage could look like on a financial scale. When you look at the technical details, the production value was through the roof. A sea of purple and white lights, pyrotechnics that painted the Argentinian sky, and a sound system that carried Jin's silver voice to every corner of the earth. But the real payday here was the emotional capital and the skyrocketing value of the Jin brand. The song itself was a gift from Coldplay, a collaboration that industry insiders estimate would usually cost millions in licensing and appearance fees, yet here it was, born out of genuine friendship and a shared artistic soul. As Jin ran across that massive stage, his long hair fluttering and a wide, boyish grin on his face, he wasn't just a singer, he was a global phenomenon, proving that even as a solo act, he could command the attention of the entire planet. The edutainment factor here is found in the ripple effect, how one single performance can boost the tourism of a city, crash global streaming servers, and sell out cinema tickets from New York to Tokyo in a matter of minutes. Fans were paying premium prices just to see him on a screen in their local malls, contributing to a box office haul that rivaled major Hollywood blockbusters for that weekend. And let's talk about that iconic hug. The moment Chris Martin pulled Jin in for a tight embrace, it was a shot seen round the world, a moment of pure, unscripted human connection that became the ultimate promotional image for the astronaut. Behind the scenes, the coordination required to synchronize a live stadium feed with thousands of digital projectors worldwide is a feat of modern engineering that cost a fortune, making this one of the most expensive and highest-earning one-off performances in history. Think about the merchandise alone. The Wutio character, Jin's little space-traveling mascot, became an overnight goldmine, with plushies and accessories selling out globally the second they appeared on stage. This performance proved that Jin's marketability didn't depend on the full group. He was a titan in his own right, capable of turning a cold October night in South America into a burning sun of profit and passion. The mystery lies in how a man so humble, who often jokes about his worldwide handsome face, could carry the weight of such a massive commercial machine without breaking a sweat, delivering a vocal performance that was as stable as a rock and as ethereal as a nebula. As the final notes of the song faded and the stadium erupted into a deafening roar, the world realized that this wasn't the end of an era, but a very expensive and very beautiful promise to return. The financial impact of this Argentina trip is still being studied by market analysts, who are baffled by how a guest spot could generate more engagement and revenue than most artists' entire world tours. It was a masterstroke of timing, talent, and brand alignment, proving that when Kim Sok-jin steps onto a stage, the universe and the global economy stops to listen. This is the power of the astronaut, a man who traveled across the world to say goodbye and ended up setting a new gold standard for solo performances that few will ever match. Can you imagine the pressure of knowing that millions of eyes are watching you through cinema lenses, waiting for a single crack in your voice, only to deliver a performance so perfect it feels like a dream? That is the magic of Jin, the man who turned a farewell into $1 million masterpiece. Keep your eyes peeled, because the numbers only get crazier from here as we climb this list of legends.
Number 6. J-Hope, the king of Chicago, $1 million gamble in the box. Imagine the sweltering heat of a late July afternoon in Chicago's Grant Park, where the air is thick with humidity and the frantic energy of over 100,000 people. This wasn't just a festival day. This was the day the world witnessed the birth of Hope-Palooza. When Jungkook, known to the world as J-Hope, stepped onto the Bud Light Seltzer stage as the first South Korean artist to headline a major U.S. music festival, he wasn't just performing. He was executing a high-stakes financial and artistic maneuver that would redefine the market value of a solo K-pop idol. For years, the industry viewed BTS as an inseparable unit, a seven-headed dragon of profit. But on this night, J-Hope proved that a single member could command the same gravitational pull and the same astronomical paycheck as a global headliner. The scale of the Lollapalooza deal was unprecedented. Industry analysts estimate that headliner fees for a festival of this magnitude range in the low millions, but the ripple effect of J-Hope's presence generated a revenue stream that far exceeded a simple appearance fee. Think about the logistics. The Jack-in-the-Box era was a complete departure from his bright, sunshine persona, a dark, gritty, rock and hip-hop-infused gamble that required a massive production overhaul. He didn't just show up with a microphone. He brought a literal giant box, an intricate stage design that symbolized his internal creative struggle, and a crew of world-class dancers whose choreography was as sharp as a diamond. The financial impact was felt long before he uttered a single word. Ticket sales for the Sunday of Lollapalooza 2022 shattered records, with fans traveling from every corner of the globe, filling Chicago's hotels to capacity and pumping millions into the local economy. But the real masterstroke was the digital broadcast. By partnering with Disney Plus and Hulu for domestic streaming and Weverse for the global audience, the reach of this single performance was expanded to millions who couldn't be in Chicago. The Weverse livestream alone peaked at an astounding 14.9 million viewers, a number that turned a physical concert into a global digital event with massive advertising and data capture value. As he emerged from the box, dressed in all black, disheveled and raw, the crowd erupted in a roar that was measured at decibel levels rarely seen at Grant Park. He tore through 18 songs in 70 minutes, including the heavy-hitting More and Arson, before bringing out Becky G for a high-energy rendition of Chicken Noodle Soup. This wasn't just music, it was a demonstration of edutainment in its purest form, teaching the Western music industry that the K-pop label was too small for an artist of his caliber. The emotional weight of the night was palpable. J-Hope later confessed to the immense pressure he felt, the sleepless nights and the fear of failing his members and his fans. Yet as he commanded that stage, he looked like a king reclaiming a throne he never knew he owned. The merchandise lines at the festival were legendary, with Jack-in-the-Box themed gear selling out faster than any other artists that weekend, creating a secondary market where items were flipped for 10 times their original price. From a business perspective, this performance was a proof of concept for HYBE, showing that their individual assets could sustain a massive solo touring infrastructure. The Jack-in-the-Box effect wasn't just a trend, it was a seismic shift in how solo artists are compensated and marketed on the international festival circuit. Every sweat-drenched minute of that performance was a testament to his decade of training, his meticulous attention to detail, and his relentless drive to be more than just a member of a group. He was a pioneer, a dancer turned rapper turned rock star, who turned a 70-minute set into a historical landmark. As the fireworks exploded over the Chicago skyline and J-Hope stood there, panting, smiling, and perhaps a little relieved, the world knew that the price for his talent had just skyrocketed. But behind the glitz and the multi-million-dollar deals, there's a mystery. How does one man transition from the polished world of K-pop to the gritty, unpredictable stage of a rock festival so seamlessly? How much of that Jack-in-the-Box was a performance, and how much was the real Hosek finally breaking free? This performance remains a gold standard for solo debuts, a night where the hope of a generation became the hype of the entire music industry. As we reflect on this monumental achievement, one has to wonder, if J-Hope can dominate a crowd of 100,000 with just a box and a dream, what happens when the stakes get even higher? Are you ready to see who managed to secure a deal even more lucrative than a headlining slot in the heart of America?
Number 5. Suga, the rapper's revenge, a burning empire of sound. Step into the shadows of the Kia Forum in Los Angeles, where the air is heavy with the scent of pyrotechnics and the raw, unbridled energy of a man who once had to choose between a 1,200 won bowl of noodles and a bus ride home. This is the D-Day era, a monumental turning point, where Min Yoongi, under his fierce alter ego August D, became the first solo rapper in history to pull in over $3 million in a single arena night in the United States. This isn't just about a paycheck, it's about a decade-long climb from the underground rap scene of Daegu to the pinnacle of global capitalism, where every growl into the microphone translates into a financial tsunami that left the industry breathless. When we talk about edutainment, we have to look at the sheer business brilliance of the D-Day tour, which ultimately grossed a staggering $57.2 million from just 28 shows, a feat that shattered the glass ceiling for Asian soloists and proved that the Suga brand is a powerhouse capable of carrying a world-class production on its own. The atmosphere inside the arena was unlike anything else, a meticulously crafted journey through the He-Ro-A rock, or the four emotions of joy, anger, sorrow, and pleasure, all framed by a stage that literally dismantled itself as the night progressed. Imagine a massive, floating platform that begins as a solid foundation and song by song is lifted piece by piece toward the ceiling until Yoongi is left standing on the bare floor, stripped of all artifice, alone with his fans. This technical marvel wasn't just for show, it was a high-budget metaphor for his personal liberation, a visual representation of his D-Day, the day he finally broke free from the traumas of his past. Financially, the Suga effect was felt across cities like Newark, Rosemont, and Oakland, where tickets weren't just sold, they were hunted like treasure, with resale prices reaching the thousands and every single venue reporting a 100% sellout rate. But the real golden goose of this tour was the D-Day finale in Seoul at the KSPO Dome, where the cumulative revenue for 3 nights hit over $5.4 million, fueled by a global army of fans who flooded the city, turning Seoul into a purple and black hub of economic activity. Think about the detail, the acoustic guitar he played, signed by all 7 members, which became a symbol of unity even in his solo journey, the grand piano that sat center stage during Snooze, a song dedicated to junior idols who are struggling in the same industry that once tried to break him, and the sheer vocal endurance required to perform nearly 2 hours of high-octane rap and soulful vocals without a single break. This performance was a masterclass in brand storytelling, where his history as a delivery boy who suffered a career-threatening shoulder injury was woven into the narrative of his success, making every dollar earned feel like a hard-won victory for every underdog watching.
The logistics of moving this massive floating stage production across continents involved hundreds of staff members, private jets, and a level of security usually reserved for heads of state, all of which added to the megalithic cost and prestige of the performance. Behind the scenes, the partnership with Samsung for the no iPhone, only Samsung viral marketing moment during the fan interactions was a stroke of genius, blending corporate sponsorship with authentic personality, further boosting the commercial value of the night. As the fire licked the air during Hagum and the bass rattled the rib cages of 15,000 people per night, the world wasn't just watching a concert, they were watching a historical financial record being written in real time. How does a man who started with nothing manage to negotiate a deal that nets him more in a weekend than most people see in a lifetime? How much of that success is calculated business strategy, and how much is the raw, undeniable gravity of his talent? The mystery of Suga is his ability to remain the quiet, introverted producer while simultaneously being a global titan of industry who can move markets with a single V Live or a sold-out merch drop. Every piece of merchandise, from the black hoodies to the August D pics, was a sellout success, adding millions more to the bottom line and proving that the August D persona was not just a creative outlet, but a highly profitable enterprise. This was the night the shadow finally met the light, and the result was a burning empire of sound that solidified Suga's place as one of the highest-earning performers in the world. As the final thank you echoed through the halls of the Kia Forum, the numbers were tallied and the verdict was clear. Min Yoongi had officially redefined what it means to be a global superstar. But if you think $3 million a night is the peak, you are in for a serious reality check as we move higher up this list. Who is the member that managed to secure a stage so grand it was watched by billions across the entire planet in a single moment? Are you ready to dive into the world of global prestige, where the numbers stop being just millions and start becoming world-changing? The next point will take us from the gritty rap scenes of LA to a stage that literally united the globe. Stay tuned because the scale is about to get unimaginably bigger.
Number 4. Namjoon, the intellectual's goldmine, a multi-million-dollar echo in the halls of art. Imagine the heavy, reverent silence of a cathedral, but instead of stained glass and ancient stone, you are surrounded by massive, rusted steel sculptures that look like the ribs of a fallen giant. This is Dia Beacon, one of the most prestigious contemporary art museums in the world, located in the serene landscape of upstate New York. It is a place where time seems to slow down, where art isn't just viewed, but experienced as a physical weight. On a crisp afternoon, the world watched in awe as Kim Namjoon, known to millions as RM, the leader of BTS, didn't just perform, he curated a cultural revolution. This was the Indigo Live at Dia Beacon, a performance that transcended the boundaries of a traditional music stage and entered the realm of high art investment. While many idols aim for the brightest lights and the loudest pyrotechnics, RM chose the gold of silence. The financial and cultural value of this performance is almost impossible to quantify, as it wasn't just about a ticket price, it was about the synergy of a global superstar and the elite art world, a partnership that industry insiders estimate boosted the Indigo brand value into the tens of millions. The logistics of securing Dia Beacon for a private, multi-room musical performance are staggering. This is a museum that rarely, if ever, allows such commercial activity. The production involved high-end cinematography that captured the interplay of light and shadow on Richard Serra's torqued ellipses, creating a visual masterpiece that served as the perfect backdrop for RM's introspective lyrics. As he walked through the galleries, his footsteps echoing against the concrete floors, he wasn't just a rapper, he was a bridge between the youth of today and the timelessness of modern art. This is where the edutainment aspect hits its peak. RM used this performance to educate a global audience about the beauty of minimalist art, while simultaneously solidifying his position as the most sophisticated intellectual asset in the music industry. Think about the detail.
Every room he entered represented a different facet of his soul, from the raw, industrial echoes of Wildflower to the groovy, rhythmic vibes of Still Life. The emotional reflection here is profound. You can see it in his eyes as he stares at the art, a man who has reached the pinnacle of fame but finds his greatest peace in the quiet corners of a gallery. Behind the scenes, the coordination between Big Hit Music and the Dia Art Foundation was a masterclass in diplomacy and brand alignment. The cost of such a production, including the exclusive location fees, world-class film crew, and the global marketing campaign, was a multi-million-dollar gamble that paid off in dividends. Upon its release, the Indigo album shot to number 3 on the Billboard 200, a historic achievement for a Korean soloist at the time, fueled by the prestige of this very performance. Fans weren't just buying music, they were buying into a lifestyle of depth, art, and reflection. The atmosphere was thick with a sense of prestige performance, where every note of his husky baritone felt like a brushstroke on a canvas. The mystery lies in how RM manages to balance the heavy burden of leadership with such a delicate, individualistic artistic vision. How does he convince a global audience to sit still for 10 minutes and watch a man walk through a museum? The answer lies in the undeniable gravity of his sincerity. As he performed number 2, a song about not looking back and moving forward, the camera captured the soft glow of the New York sun hitting the museum walls, creating an atmosphere of pure, unadulterated hope. This performance proved that RM's marketability isn't just in his dance moves or his hit songs, but in his mind, a mind that is worth more than gold to the global luxury and art markets. Every piece of clothing he wore, every artist he mentioned, and every gallery he stepped into saw an immediate surge in interest and value, a phenomenon known as the Namjooning effect. This wasn't just a concert, it was an investment in the future of music as an art form. As the final notes of the performance faded into the vast open spaces of the museum, the world realized that RM had set a new gold standard for what a solo performance could be. He didn't need a stadium, he needed a sanctuary. And in that sanctuary, he earned the respect and the revenue of a man who knows exactly who he is. But as we move closer to the top of this list, the stakes transition from the quiet halls of art to the high-energy world of global trendsetters. Who is the member that turned a single appearance into a fashion-music fusion that broke the internet and the bank? Are you ready to see the face that launched 1,000 luxury ships and secured a paycheck that would make a king blush? The journey is only getting more intense as we reach the top 3. Do you have what it takes to witness the ultimate power of the next legend?
Number 3. Taeyang, the diamond prince of luxury, a billion-won gaze under the stars. Step into the ultra-exclusive world of the French Riviera, where the Mediterranean Sea sparkles like 1,000,000 crushed sapphires, and the air carries the scent of expensive cigars and aged cognac. This isn't just a concert venue, it's a high-security sanctuary where the world's elite, the billionaires, the fashion titans, and the royal families gather for an event so secretive that even the mention of it sends the stock market into a frenzy. In late 2025, Kim Taeyang, known to the world as V, didn't just perform, he became the living embodiment of luxury at a private gala that industry insiders are still calling the Night of the Diamond Prince. This was a performance that bypassed the traditional stadium model and entered the realm of ultra-high net worth entertainment, where the paycheck isn't just in the millions, it's in the prestige and the unprecedented earned media value that followed. We are talking about the Kim-Celine effect taken to its absolute extreme. While the public sees his breathtaking photo shoots, what happened behind the closed doors of this gala was a masterclass in brand-integrated performance. Taeyang walked onto a stage built over a reflecting pool, his silhouette framed by the golden hour sun, wearing a custom-made, diamond-encrusted Celine jacket that cost more than a fleet of luxury cars. The edutainment factor here is the sheer economic gravity of his billion-won gaze.
Analysts have estimated that his solo appearance and a brief, soulful set, including slow dancing and Love Me Again, generated over $13.1 million in media exposure within just 24 hours of a single leaked photo. But the actual performance fee? It was rumored to be one of the highest ever paid for a solo artist in a private setting, reflecting his status as the most bankable male artist worldwide. The atmosphere was thick with a sense of untouchable elegance. The audience, used to having everything money can buy, stood in stunned silence as V's baritone voice, rich like velvet and deep like the ocean, filled the air. There was no need for massive choreography or screaming fans. It was just a man, a microphone, and a level of charisma that could stop time. This performance was the pinnacle of his Layover and Friends era, proving that he is not just a singer, but a global cultural icon who can influence the luxury market more than any other living celebrity. Think about the detail, the way he used his facial expressions to convey 1,000 stories in a single note, the way the light caught the Cartier jewelry adorning his fingers, and the effortless grace with which he commanded the most powerful people in the room. The emotional reflection here is staggering. Taehyung has always been the soul of the group, a man who finds beauty in the old, the classic, and the refined. To see him in this setting was like seeing a masterpiece returned to its rightful museum. Behind the scenes, the logistics were a nightmare of NDAs and private transport. He was flown in via a private jet branded with his own logo, and the security detail was comparable to that of a sitting president. This wasn't just a gig, it was a statement. The revenue from his solo album Layover, which sold over 2.1 million copies in its first week, was already historic, but this private performance solidified his 2026 status as the richest BTS member, with an estimated net worth hovering between $35 and $40 million. The mystery of V lies in his dual personality, the playful, quirky Tay-Tay that fans adore, and the cold, sharp, and lethal Kim Tae-young, who can dominate the fashion world with a single glance. How does he maintain that level of intensity while remaining the most beloved friend to millions? The answer is in the authenticity of his art. He doesn't just sing a song, he lives it. Every note of Winter Ahead or White Christmas feels like a personal gift, even when performed for the world's elite. The Vicnic fan meet was for the fans, but this Riviera performance was for his legacy, a night that proved his brand is recession-proof. Fans worldwide were tracking the private jet movements, and the hashtag #VInCannes was trending for days without him even being confirmed to be there. That is the power of the Diamond Prince. He doesn't need to announce himself. His presence is the announcement. As the night ended and the final notes of his jazz-infused set faded into the sound of the crashing waves, those in attendance knew they had witnessed history. He had turned a 30-minute set into a billion-won event that redefined the value of a K-pop idol in the eyes of the global elite. The V effect is real, and it is expensive. But as we look at the numbers, you have to ask yourself, what is the price of a soul that can captivate the entire world with just a look? The answer is on this list. But wait, if V has conquered the world of luxury, who is left to take the top spots? Who has the power to turn a stadium into a sea of tears and a mountain of gold? The climb to #1 is almost over, and the next two legends are about to break the internet all over again. Are you ready for the final showdown of the golden and the ethereal? The stakes are about to hit the stratosphere.
Number 2. Jimin, the ethereal architect of elegance, a multi-million-dollar Tiffany blue dream. Close your eyes and transport yourself to the heart of Manhattan, right on the corner of 5th Avenue and 57th Street, where the towering glass and steel of The Landmark, the legendary Tiffany & Co. flagship store, reaches toward the New York City clouds. The air is crisp, filled with the hum of the city that never sleeps. But tonight, the street is eerily quiet because it has been cordoned off for the world's most exclusive high jewelry gala of 2026. This wasn't just a corporate event, it was a coronation. When Park Jimin stepped out of a sleek black limousine, the flashes from 1,000 cameras turned the night into a blinding midday. But the real light was coming from the man himself. We are talking about the ethereal king, the man whose solo debut Face and subsequent masterpiece Muse didn't just top charts, they shattered the very foundations of what we thought a K-pop soloist could achieve. As he entered the hall, adorned in a custom-made Dior suit that fit like a second skin, and wearing a necklace from the Tiffany high jewelry collection, valued at more than a luxury estate, the atmosphere shifted from party to history in the making. This performance was a private, invitation-only showcase for the global elite, and the paycheck attached to it was rumored to be the highest ever recorded for a solo appearance in the luxury sector, comfortably sitting in the multi-million-dollar range for a single 20-minute set. But the edutainment value here goes way beyond the cash. Did you know that when Jimin was announced as the global ambassador for Dior and Tiffany & Co., the market capitalization of these brands saw a surge that could be measured in the billions? He isn't just a face, he is a financial catalyst. During this performance, he chose to sing a stripped-back, jazz-infused version of Like Crazy, the song that made him the first ever South Korean soloist to hit #1 on the Billboard Hot 100. As his voice, that signature ethereal tenor that sounds like silk sliding over glass, filled the room, the world's most powerful CEOs and fashion icons were visibly moved. You could see the perfectionism in every tilt of his head, every subtle movement of his fingers, reflecting a decade of grueling training and a relentless pursuit of artistic truth. This is the man who spent years refining his dance until it became a language of its own, blending contemporary grace with hip-hop precision. The narrative of Face was about finding oneself in the dark, and by the time we reached the Muse era in late 2024 and his triumphant military return in mid-2025, that search had turned into a celebration. The financial impact of this single NYC night was astronomical. Industry experts noted that the earned media value, or EMV, generated by his attendance and performance exceeded $20 million within 48 hours. Every piece of jewelry he wore was sold out in pre-orders before he even finished his second song, proving that the Jimin effect is a tangible, measurable force in the global economy. Fans, the ever-loyal army, were gathered in the thousands 10 blocks away just for a chance to catch a glimpse of his silhouette through the windows, creating a scene that felt more like a religious pilgrimage than a luxury gala. The emotional weight of the night was palpable when he performed Who, his 2024 global smash that was still dominating the charts in 2026, earning double platinum status in countries like Canada and the UK. As he sang about the search for the one, it felt like he was singing to the soul of the industry itself, a man who had conquered the Billboard world and the high fashion world simultaneously. The mystery of Jimin is his duality. How can someone be so incredibly powerful on stage, a commander of millions, and yet remain the soft-spoken, humble mochi who blushes at a compliment? Behind the scenes, the logistics for this performance were a masterpiece of security and luxury. He traveled with a personal team of stylists, bodyguards, and producers, and his contract included clauses for the ultimate privacy and artistic control. This performance solidified his 2026 status as a living landmark, a bridge between the heritage of classic French luxury and the cutting-edge future of global pop. He proved that he doesn't need a stadium of 50,000 to be the most influential person on the planet. He can do it in a room of 100 with just a microphone and his undeniable aura. As the performance concluded and he gave his trademark polite bow, the silence that followed was one of pure, unadulterated respect. The Platinum Night at Tiffany's became the gold standard for solo performances, a moment where art, wealth, and history collided in a way that only Park Jimin could orchestrate.
But the real question remains, how does he keep evolving? From the filter of his youth to the who of his maturity, he has shown us that he is a man of 1,000 faces, each more valuable than the last. He has turned his ethereal nature into a multi-million-dollar empire, making him the second highest paid solo performer in the history of the group. But as we stand at the edge of our seats, looking at the very top of this mountain, there is only one name left, one man who has literally become the golden child of the entire world. Are you ready for the final revelation? Are you ready to see who secured the #1 spot with a performance that wasn't just a concert, but a planetary event? The climax of our journey is here, and it's about to get legendary. Who else could it be but the man who dreamed of being a singer and ended up as the face of an entire era? Let's find out.
Number 1. Jungkook, the global golden boy, a billion-eye planetary coronation. Close your eyes and try to visualize the absolute center of the world. It's November 20th, 2022, and the location is the Al Bayat Stadium in Al Khor, Qatar. The air is thick with a heat that isn't just from the desert sun, but from the collective anticipation of 5 billion people, more than half the human population, who are currently tuning in. This isn't a K-pop concert. This isn't even a typical music awards show. This is the opening ceremony of the FIFA World Cup, the single most watched sporting event on the planet. And standing at the very heart of that massive circular stage, surrounded by high-tech lasers and hundreds of performers, is Jungkook. This performance of Dreamers was more than just a song. It was a geopolitical and cultural earthquake that shattered the final barrier between K-pop and the global mainstream. While the exact paycheck for a World Cup headliner is often buried under layers of non-disclosure agreements, or NDAs, and diplomatic protocols, industry analysts have calculated the economic media value of this 4-minute performance to be in the hundreds of millions of dollars. The scale of the deal involved not just FIFA and the Qatari government, but the branding machinery of HYBE and the global reach of the Jungkook brand, which by 2026 has officially become one of the most valuable individual intellectual properties in entertainment history. This is the ultimate edutainment moment. Did you know that Jungkook was the first artist to have a solo FIFA World Cup anthem reach #1 on the iTunes charts in over 100 countries within just 13 hours? The technical production alone was a nightmare of precision, synchronizing live vocals with a massive desert-themed choreography while drones formed the shape of the World Cup trophy in the night sky. But the real gold wasn't just in the performance fee, it was in what happened next. This single appearance acted as the launchpad for his golden solo era, which in late 2023 saw him become the first ever K-pop soloist to sell over 2.5 million copies of a single album. By the time 2026 rolled around, Jungkook's solo career had generated revenue comparable to many mid-sized nations' GDPs. Think about the Golden Live on Stage showcase at the Jungcheong Arena, a performance that was streamed to millions worldwide on Weverse, where every ticket and every piece of merchandise was a testament to his status as the main pop boy. The atmosphere during Dreamers was spiritual. You could see the golden maknae had grown into a global titan, his voice echoing with a confidence that didn't just ask for attention, but commanded it. The emotional reflection here is profound. The youngest member of a group from a small agency in Seoul was now the face of the world's biggest sport. Behind the scenes, the training for this one performance was brutal, involving secret rehearsals in the middle of the night to avoid leaks, and a level of pressure that would break most veteran performers. Yet Jungkook stood there, cool and collected, proving that he was truly golden. Then consider the financial synergy of his partnership with Calvin Klein. His 2024 and 2026 campaigns didn't just move clothing, they moved the entire needle for the brand, leading to stock price surges and out-of-stock signs in stores from London to New York within minutes of his images dropping. The Jungkook effect is a tangible financial phenomenon. As of 2026, his estimated net worth has skyrocketed, fueled by royalty checks from global smashes like Seven, the fastest song in history to reach 1 billion streams on Spotify, and Standing Next to You. Every time he steps on a stage, whether it's a surprise performance at Times Square that stopped traffic in the heart of Manhattan or a massive stadium show, the return on investment is guaranteed. The mystery lies in how he maintains that Mach-Ne heart while carrying the weight of $1 billion legacy. He is a perfectionist who will re-record a single line 50 times just to get the vibe right, and that dedication is exactly why he sits at number 1. His performance at the World Cup wasn't just his highest-paying moment in terms of reach and potential. It was the moment the world agreed that Jungkook was no longer just a member of something bigger. He was the something bigger. He turned a stadium in the desert into a sea of dreamers, and in doing so, he claimed his throne as the highest-earning, most influential solo performer of his generation. As the final pyrotechnics exploded in Qatar and Jungkook walked off that stage, he didn't just walk into a dressing room, he walked into history books. He is the golden standard, the man who dreamed of being a singer and ended up as the voice of the entire human race. And as we look at the numbers in 2026, the data is clear. There is only one Jungkook, and the price of his genius is truly beyond measure. Can you even imagine what the next chapter looks like for a man who has already conquered the entire world before the age of 30? This is the power of the golden child, and he is just getting started.
And there you have it, a breathtaking journey through the high-stakes, multi-million-dollar world of the BTS solo era, a period in history that didn't just redefine music, but fundamentally reshaped the global economy. As we look back from the vantage point of 2026, it's clear that these 7 men aren't just artists. They are individual empires, each capable of commanding the kind of financial and cultural gravity that was once reserved for entire nations. From Jin's heart-wrenching stadium farewell in Argentina to Jungkook's world-shaking coronation in Qatar, we've witnessed a masterclass in branding, raw talent, and the power of a loyal global community. The BTS effect isn't a myth, it's a measurable data point that analysts will be studying for decades to come. Think about the sheer audacity of what they achieved, taking a break from group activities only to conquer the worlds of high fashion, art, rap, and global sports as individuals. They proved that the sum of their parts is just as legendary as the whole. And as they reunite in 2026 for their massive world tour, the value of the BTS brand has reached a stratosphere that no one thought possible. This isn't just about the paychecks, the luxury jets, or the diamond-encrusted jackets. It's about the blood, sweat, and tears of 7 young men who dared to dream bigger than the world allowed. They've taught us that with enough passion and a golden mindset, you can turn a small room in Seoul into a sanctuary for the entire planet. As the curtain falls on this top list, we're left with a sense of awe and a lingering question. In a world that is constantly changing, how did these 7 stay so grounded while flying so high? The answer lies in their sincerity, their bond with each other, and that unbreakable thread that connects them to every single one of you. The solo era was a fire that tested their strength, and they've emerged as the most valuable icons of our generation, ready to set the world on fire once again, together. So as you look at those numbers one last time, remember that behind every million-dollar deal is a story of sacrifice, a moment of doubt, and a final, triumphant, I did it. They are the architects of a new era, the dreamers who became the reality, and the kings who never forgot their roots. What's your favorite solo moment from this legendary climb? Which performance moved your soul or made your jaw drop? The story of BTS is far from over, and if the solo era was this explosive, we can only imagine the heights they'll reach in the years to come. Stay tuned, keep dreaming, and never forget, the best is yet to come. This has been your deep dive into the world of the highest-paying solo performances, a testament to the power of 7 stars that refuse to be dimmed. Until next time, keep your eyes on the horizon, because the golden era is just getting started.